Greetings, Deep Dive Podcast listeners. This is your boy, Sam Oram, coming at you with another episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. Man, I look forward to these podcasts every week. I get so excited. You know, I hear so many messages and emails and texts and things of that nature during the week, and it just kind of gets me all excited and fired up and revved up for the following week. So I'm just smiling. You can't see me unless you're on the YouTube or the Facebook Live version, but tell you what, I'm excited to be here tonight just to share with you something else that I think can empower and change your life in a better way. Before we get into that, though, I want to certainly welcome all of you who are first-time listeners to the Deep Dive Podcast. We really appreciate your support. We appreciate what it is that you're bringing to the table in terms of your questions, in terms of your energy and excitement about what we're doing. The Facebook group is growing by leaps and bounds. We get so many requests, more than typical lately, and I'm excited about that. So thank you so much for those of you who are part of the Facebook group. Those of you who are part of the book club, the Mindset of a Champion, thank you guys so much. You've been meeting weekly and discussing topics of the book. And man, so many things are just great right now with the podcast and the platforms that we provide. So we're excited about that. And of course, we always want to thank all of our, traditional followers and listeners. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. If you're new, we continue to ask that you like, subscribe, download, and share this podcast. Not just this one, but all the previous episodes from the first couple of years. We're in season 3 right now. You can go to the Deep Dive Podcast.live, and there are tons of podcasts that you can take a listen to or watch them on the YouTube channel. And hopefully it's something there for you that can empower your lives. So what tonight is about, and what I want to talk to you about tonight is the psychology of winning. This is one of my favorite topics. This is one of the things that I think can help so many people, regardless of where you are on your life's journey. We're talking about the psychology of winning. How do you win? What are some of the things that it takes to become a winner from a mindset standpoint? As all of you know by now, if you've been following the podcast in any form, you know that I'm frequently talking about the mindset and things of a thought leader, or things that will cause you to think, and so will give you the ability to create your future. That's who I am. So I talk about that a lot. One of the things I studied many years ago was the psychology of winning. There are many tapes and books and, it used to be CDs, DVDs, MP3s, whatever you want to call them now, that talks about the psychology of winning, the psychology of achievement, the psychology of being great. Note the word psychology. It's all about the mindset. One that I studied by Denis Waitley many years ago, it changed my life because it really brought into focus so many things that I was dealing with personally. That was all just a reshaping of the mind, if you will. So tonight's episode, I want to, if you're listening live, I want you to take some notes, because again, I think this podcast is relevant to everyone, no matter where you are in your life's journey. Also, if you're listening to the replay, again, I want you to be able to take some notes so that you'll understand the value of creating your life by just creating winning habits. So what does it mean? What does it really mean to have, a positive winning type mindset? Well, that means creating a positive lifestyle. That lifestyle is going to benefit you, is going to benefit people who are winners, is also going to benefit the people who are around you, whether that's your family, whether that's your friends, your coworkers. You start to develop an aura around you where people know that no matter what you're doing, no matter what you touch, is going to turn to gold, because they understand that you bring a value of winning to the table. That's who you are. And the key is knowing who you are. Who are you in terms of being a winner? A lot of times people characterize being a winner versus someone who may be a loser. I don't look at anybody as a loser. I look at people's mindset maybe being in a different place, right? Or a different space. You may consider yourself, or people may consider you a winner because your mindset is in a certain place versus a quote unquote loser. It's not that they're a loser. It may be something that they need to learn. They may not have grown as much as you. They may not have been exposed to as many things that as you have been exposed to. So it's not a loser. It's just a matter of time. For me personally, I always, always, always cherish the time that I have to listen to people who are my elders, people who have lived life far beyond my years, right? The reason I respect that is because there is no substitute for years. There is no substitute for the years you've lived on earth, right? There's no substitute for the years that you've lived life. So I'm always in tune. I listen to my elders. There's always wisdom there and what they think and how they speak and articulate life. There's no way for me to understand that absent of going through the same amount of years. So, but knowing who you are is very important. Self projection. How do you project yourself? How do you, treat yourself in terms of knowing who you are? I was getting a physical, just an annual physical to close out the year last week. And in the doctor's office, in the exam room, just conversing with the doctor, and I'm talking about, back pain, and I'm talking about these just little nagging things, right? And he said, I want you to freeze, and I want you to take a look. Just take a look at your posture right now. And I looked down, I looked at my posture, I'm like slumped over and just I call it from a kind of like a defeated mindset, so to speak. I'm just kind of slouching over. He's like, sit up straight, change your presence. That first of all, that's going to help your back, but it's also going to help your mindset because you're not coming from a defeated type of mindset, which is obviously not me. I don't deal in defeat, but he's talking about my posture, right? He's talking, just sit up. And so we continue to converse. And a few minutes later, he said, freeze, look at yourself again. You're right back into that defeated type of posture. Sit up. And I'm thinking, all right, first of all, stop yelling at me because I don't I don't take that well. But point made, point taken, right? That's a part of who you are, understanding who you are, self-projection. You want to project that you are a winner. You want to project that you have confidence. You want to project, even if it may not be true for you in a lot of cases, you want to project that notion that you have a certain level of confidence and a winning attitude, no matter what it is. Using the power of the mind to achieve certain things is going to be important, and that starts in a lot of cases with your posture. I attended Anthony Robbins Mastery University. This was many years ago. I don't even know if he still does that now. But one of the things that he taught is how, your posture, your physiology is what he called it, can determine how you feel. And if you understand your physiology, if you understand your physical being, it's going to create habits with you that people will start seeing you as a winner because you see yourself as a winner. It's all psychological. A lot of times people, and I get this all the time, man, people, they think I'm mean, people think I'm arrogant, people think I'm short with them and all these other kind of things. And none of that's true. I mean, it's quite the contrary. I am a giver. I have empathy for people and situations. But what that feeling they're getting is my projection of confidence. It is my projection of a winning attitude. It is my projection of empowerment. And I'm non-negotiable with empowerment because that is my purpose. That's why I'm here on earth, right? That's what my life is about, the empowerment of people. So I'm non-negotiable. So when it sounds like in a lot of cases I'm short or arrogant or all of these things that people say, it's only because I'm passionate about what I'm saying or what I'm doing to the point where I don't deviate, because if I deviate, then that diminishes my mindset of winning. that diminishes my psychological advantage, which is I am a winner, right? So that's some of the things that you have to understand: your physiology, your posture, your mindset, knowing who you are. You want to develop a positive lifestyle. Just create a lifestyle for yourself that is buried in positivity. That's going to help you. That's also going to help the people around you. Living in positivity. You know this, and we've talked about this on previous episodes, but there are people that, as soon as you see them coming, it's going to be something negative that they're talking about. They're going to be talking about somebody else, or they're going to be talking about their situation from a negative standpoint. I'm going to say something. It's going to be controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. There are certain like gospel music that it just drives me. I cannot listen to it. The reason I cannot listen to it is because I call it woe is me gospel. Oh, my knee hurt. Oh, my back hurt. Oh, my head hurt. Oh, God got to touch my knee. Oh, God got to touch my back. Oh, God needs to touch my. It's all about the woe is me. And that's just not my persona. So it just kind of drives me. There's a lot of gospel music that I love, right? Because it's uplifting, it's spiritual in nature. It is designed to help you in terms of that psychology of winning. It is designed to help you, to become better and to think better. One song comes to mind just off the top of my head. Paul Martin has a song called No Tears. I think it's called No Tears. Well, that's a positive, uplifting type gospel song, because it's like, look, God is here, no more tears, dot, 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 that kind of notion, as opposed to, oh, my back is hurting, oh, my knee is hurting, oh, my head is hurting. Just get up and do some exercise. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. I'm laughing because I can hear some of my friends now. Just kind of going in on me. But hey, look, that's how I feel. That's what I mean. So, but when you're talking about developing that mindset, that psychology of winning, it has to be an everyday, all day thing that empowers you and also the people that are around you. Winning is about developing a positive lifestyle. Get rid of those so-called loser habits and replace them with winning habits. Get rid of those losing notions, so to speak, and replace those with winning notions. And I think if we can start to develop that, I know for a fact, and we've said this before, but if you do something 21 days consecutively without fail, right, then it starts to become a part of you. So I wonder if you had 21 days of just positive lifestyle changes. Wonder what that would do to your lifestyle in general. I mentioned this before, but one of my good friends, Pastor Vernon Fox, he has a church in Las Vegas, Salt Church International, and he also has a book. It's called 21 Faith Habits. And I started the year off 2022 with that particular book, 21 Habits of Faith. I hope I'm not mutilating the title, but the gist of it is 21 Habits of Faith, right? And I started the year off day one, not for a New Year's resolution, but I wanted to start the year off with 21 days consecutively with words of faith, with habits of faith. And those things became a part of me. And throughout 2022, I've been living through those 21 habits that I learned the first 21 days of the year. And it has sustained me. It has become a part of me. I've lived that. Well, wonder if you start doing the same thing in terms of positive lifestyle changes every single day for the next 21 days. You do something positive that's going to change your lifestyle. Positive thinking, positive mindset, not worrying about what other people think. You know what I mean? I think that'll go a long way in terms of helping you in your psychology of winning. You also want to develop clearly defined goals, as well as your purpose. Now, I know we've said this before on previous episodes, and I'll probably always say it, but understanding your goals, your game plan, and your purpose, this is going to give you the confidence that you need to develop those winning habits. These things are very, very important. I'll say it again: your goals, your game plan, and your purpose. Now, let me just touch on each one a little bit. A lot of people get your goals and the game plans confused. They are two separate things. And if you just, develop a list of goals, well, I'm going to do this in 2023, or I'm going to do this, and so forth and so on, and you don't have any type of game plan behind those goals, it's just a glorified wish list. I use this example over and over, but in sports, let's look at a football game. The goal is to win the game. That's the goal. But if you don't have a plan for offense, for defense, for special teams, for coaching, if you don't have a plan, typically you will lose because you're just getting on the field with the goal of winning. You got to have a strategic plan. In business, your goal may be to make X number of dollars in the calendar year, right? Well, if you don't have a business plan or a strategic plan to execute that, then it's just a glorified wish list. And here's the thing that's a bit frustrating to a lot of people, and I understand this. A lot of people, it's human nature to seek pleasure and to avoid pain, right? And so when people have to develop a business plan or a strategy, a strategic plan or life plan or things of that nature, they can equate that to pain. So they just don't do it. They tend to focus on the things that will give them more pleasure and is more exciting and a lot more fun. I have some friends that's in the music industry, and we've had this conversation before. It's a glorious thing for you to be able to hit the stage and to perform and to do a tour, concerts, and get the adulation and all of these things. I mean, that's what you are in the business for, if you are an artist, right? But then you have to understand, in order for that to happen, there are a lot of other things that may not be so pleasant that you must do in order to have that level of success. And that is the business behind the show. Show business is 80% business and only 20% show. And it's the same thing with your life. It has to be 80% focusing in on winning, positivity, goals, game plan, and purpose. So when you look at it, you're talking about a concert. Yeah, you got to get audio and video things in place, and your trucks that's going to carry things, and your liability insurances, and your security plans, and just so many things that have to take place before the actual event. That's where the grunt work, the heavy lifting has to take place. Your life, your goals, your game plan, your purpose, it has to be the same way. That heavy lifting has to take place up front. You have to pay that up front and in full. You're going to have to go through these obstacles. You're going to have to go through all of these things that's going to may be painful, but it's what's going to force you to stretch. And now that you have stretched, you have developed the confidence to, have that positive winning attitude. That is the psychology behind winning. It's confidence. It's confidence in knowing who you are. It's confidence in knowing what you're doing. Not only for you, but you have to be able to motivate people who are around you. You motivate yourself by focusing in on positive things, but then you motivate people who are around you. People start to see these habits that you have, and these habits and the things that you focus on, it can become either crippling or empowering to the people who you associate with, whether it's physically associating or through podcasting or whatever it may be. Stanley Doucette, he has a podcast, Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette, and he always says something to the effect of how many people's lives are affected, something like that. I know, based on what you do. The premise behind it is the things that you do, how many people's blessings are attached to you, I think is the way he put it. But the premise behind that is, what you do affect a lot of people. So the fact that you can develop a winning mindset, it can affect the people around you, even in your household. You know that a lot of kids grow up in misery because their parents live in a miserable lifestyle, not the physical part, the mental part. They're always frustrated or disillusioned about something, and then that stuff spills over into the kids, and then now the kids grow up frustrated and disillusioned, and they don't even know why. Right? So you got to be able to motivate people around you by your positive attitude, your physiology, your psychology, your mindset, your purpose. All of these things are, it sounds cliche-ish, but it is who you are. That's what you need to do. Motivation is driven by your emotional state. So you have to protect your emotional state. What's going to cause you to flip out sometime and, just be in a dark place? Well, you got to try to avoid those things because your motivation can be driven by your emotional state. That's what dominates the human physiology. Two things in particular, fear and desire. Look, you got to be able to control and through motivation, through awareness, all of these things, your fears and your desires. We know what fear is. It's the acronym is false evidence appearing real. In a lot of cases, it's something that's not true, but you make it true just by how you approach it. False evidence appearing real. I've said this before and I'll say it again. You're only born with two fears. That's the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Those are the only two fears that you're born with. Every other fear is learned. Let me say that again. Every fear is learned other than the two you're born with, fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. So if that fear is learned, then it can be unlearned. I don't know if that's a word, but you get the point, right? So what does that mean? That means you becoming greater than that particular fear. If you're afraid of a snake, then touch a snake. Not literally, but you get the point, right? If you're fear of flying, then get on an airplane. Conquer that thing. Then the other thing that motivates you uh, are your desires. What are your desires? Whether they're spiritual desires, whether they're physical desires, whether they're monetary desires. These are the things that motivate you. Well, how is that relevant in terms of your psychology of winning? You have to be able to control even your desires to a point that you are effective in what you're doing so that you can be confident in what you're doing so you can have a psychological advantage in what you're doing. It all goes, like a hand in glove. It's all interconnected. The key is that being confident, but to be confident, you got to be competent. To be competent, you got to understand. And to understand, you got to control. So all of these things are important in terms of controlling those desires. There's a lot of things that I want to do a lot of times, but sometimes, they're spiritual boundaries that you cannot do certain things just because you want to. It's against what you believe, right? There's certain things I want to eat sometimes. And, I eat a lot. I love to eat, right? But there are desires and boundaries, certain things you just can't eat everything you want to eat because you want to eat it. You're going to get sick or whatever it may be. So you have to be able to control those desires. You have to be able to control those fears. These things are very important. And whatever fuels your mind, whatever fuels your mindset, it's going to influence your behavior. It's going to influence your actions. And the things that influence your actions is going to either help or hurt you creating that positive lifestyle. Remember, we're still talking about a positive lifestyle. How do you create that? How do you build upon that? You create these winning habits. I've said this before, and I know I keep, saying that, but I've spoken in so many different places. I don't want to be redundant, but I want you to understand something that for me, I have created such a winning type of mindset that my mind cannot fathom loss in any capacity. My mind cannot fathom losing in any capacity. My mind cannot fathom uh, failure in any capacity. Every time I say the word fathom, I laugh because a few years ago, a friend of mine, Victor Huff, brought to my attention because I used to say phantom. I say every time I phantom something, and he pulled me to the side one day. Man, what are you talking about phantom? What is it? What do you mean phantom? Do you mean fathom? I'm like, no, it's phantom. He's like, no, 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 it's fathom. And so I had to look it up, and he's right. It's fathom. So every time I say that word, I start laughing to myself because that boy a fool. But anyway, need I digress. But the point I want to make is this: just continuing to develop small habits that will cause you to not even imagine what failure or losing looks like. I've used this example, like if somebody say, let's play video games, I totally expect to win, right? Even if I've never played before, I expect to win because my mind cannot comprehend losing. Now, a lot of times I will lose, um, but I can't believe it. I'm in disbelief. Now this doesn't relate to my friend Dr. David Dukes. You know, not that David, the one with some sense, but I know you listening in, David. It doesn't apply to you. You have never ever won anything that we've ever competitively competed, with each other. So no need to start now. But anyway, but I totally expect to win, guys, and that's the mindset that you want to develop. Totally expecting to win to a point where you'll be like me. You'll be surprised when and if you lose at something. That's just it's all about creating certain habits that's going to help you continue to grow. You also, have to be self aware, and that's a part of what we're talking about now. What are your limitations or lack thereof? I know what I know, but I also know what I don't know. And the things that I don't know, I try to surround myself with people who can fill my lack. There are a lot of things that I can't do well, I don't do well. So I either study or I surround myself with people who fulfill those things, who fulfill my lack. And I think that's a part of you winning as well. Surrounding your people, being self aware is the key, but being self aware to the degree that you know what you don't know. And then so you fill that void. You don't try to be the master of everything. You just try to fill that void with people who know things you don't know. And then you focus on the things that you do, right? But then you have to also empathize with other people who may not be, as astute as you are in certain things. All of these things go hand in hand in terms of developing that winning attitude. You have to be adaptable. I pride myself on being a chameleon in every aspect of life. No matter where I am, I can relate to people. I've sat down with kings and princes and governors and people who have massive spheres of influence around the globe. I've sat with those people. Then I can go in the hood and sit down and have a conversation, with my friends there about what's going on there. I can sit in any political environment, any social or economical environment, anything. I pride myself on that because I pride myself in being adaptable in any situation. The key for me is I'm the same no matter where I am. If I'm in the Middle East and I'm sitting down with some of my peers, I'm just like I am now. I say the things I'm going to say. I don't deviate from my thought. That's what happens when you can create and control your own future. That's why that's so important. Last week, I think we talked about your cash flow being on the right side of the quadrant. Business owners and investors, you can control your life from that right side. Other people control your life from the left side. So being adaptable is a part of you controlling your life. You sign your own paycheck. You do your own thing. So you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with people around you. You have to be empathetic and sympathetic to people who are around you. Have that adaptability because it gives you that sense of power that you're still in control of your life and being empathetic to other people at the same time. You have that high level of self-esteem. You're confident in what you do. You're confident in how you're doing it, how you present yourself. That's very important, having that self-esteem. A lot of people, they're down on themselves for either not knowing something, not looking a certain way. This is why all of these filters and all of this um, social media stuff is so appealing to so many people because they get to be who they're really not. And I don't know if that's a great thing. There's this app that's going around right now. I think it's Lenzo.ai or something like that, where everybody is looking like an animated something or another, a king or animated this, and everybody is on this app making this company billions of dollars because people want to be who they're not. You know, they got all of these filters on social media. Don't get me wrong, it's fun, it's enjoyable, but here's how I think about it. I'm laughing at myself because I already know what I'm going to say and I know what I want to hear. But I'm like, yeah, you put all of these filters on that make, you look slimmer or prettier or more handsome or whatever. At some point, whoever you're trying to impress, they're gonna meet you in real life. And they gonna be like, what the hell happened to you? What happened? You don't look like you did on Snapchat. No, because all those filters gone. So I do the opposite. Matter of fact, for many years I've been, I don't they talk about my age a lot, but I'm gonna start telling people I'm 85 years old. That's my age. I'm 85, and I think I look good for 85. Right? You see what I'm doing? I'm actually flipping the script. I think I look good for 85 years old. Right? So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to under promise and over deliver. I don't need all these filters and stuff. But when I do see you live, you're like, yep, yeah, that's it. Plus, I can't lie. I'm on these podcasts. You're gonna see how I look anyway. So it is what it is. Filters be damned. Oh, I'm cracking myself up. Let me finish this podcast, man. I'm having a good time just by myself, talking to a microphone and a camera. Don't know who listening, but I'm having a good time. But that positive self-talk is very, very important, right? You can change though your self-image, just by changing some certain behaviors. I tend to believe that if you just authentically be who you are, then that's going to give you a level of confidence, and that's a behavior, learned behavior as well. When you can just be who you are. Some people spend so much time and so much energy in just trying to create this facade around who you are, so people will think a certain way about you. Man, forget about all that. Just be who you are. Just be who you are. You go all out to just try to be all of this and all of that. 9 times out of 10, people see through it anyway. Just be who you are. All right. Change that behavior. Just become authentic to who you are. Got to realize that people actually, you know, they don't really care about who you think you are. They only care about who you really are. Let me say that again. They don't care about who you think you are. They only care about who you are. So just be authentic to yourself. You got to realize that people don't actually act in accordance to, with the reality in a lot of cases, but with the perception of the reality. Or I should say that's what people doing. They're creating a perception of the reality, and it's not real. You want to be authentic to yourself. You know, create a certain behavior around yourself, create a certain aura and energy around yourself where people gonna look. I tell my friends this all the time. We're in a 51-49 society anyway. Whether it's political, whether it's spiritual, we're in a 51-49 society. What does that mean? It means no matter what the topic is, no matter what the religious ideology is, no matter what whatever it is, you're going to have 51% of the people that agree alike or disagree alike, and 49% on the other side. It's just the way it is. It doesn't matter what topic it is. You had this whole thing, you still got this whole thing going on with Deion Sanders leaving an HBCU, going to Colorado to coach. You got 51% of the people, or 49% of the people, basically half the people like praising him, like, look, you got a 1,600% increase in your pay. Who wouldn't take it? Then you got, another half saying, hey, you're a sellout. It's always going to be that way. It's always going to be that way. You got a bunch of people who don't even believe in God. You got people in the political environment. You can look at any election. Just had this election with Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock. It was a 51-49 deal. The presidential election, basically 51-49 deal. That's just where people are, right? If you know this, there's no way for you to please everybody. So don't try. I don't even try. It is what it is. You are who you are. Because no matter what you do, half the people not gonna like it. No matter what you do, half the people do like it. And Whoopi Goldberg always say, don't read that negative stuff. Don't get into the negative stuff. Just focus on the positive part of it. That's what's going to help you in terms of the psychology of winning. You're going to strengthen your self-discipline. Make sure you staying committed to these winning habits. Make sure you commit to them. Once you create them, commit to them and just continue to focus on those winning habits every single day. Being on time is a habit. Once you get used to it, it's become a part of you, it becomes difficult for you to be late. It becomes very difficult for you to be late. My sister Kara, I can set my clock on if she said, we're going to meet or do something or call or whatever it is at a certain time, she's going to be there, not just at that time, 15, 20, 30 minutes early. That's just the way it is. Then you got some people you can just count on. They're always going to be late. They're always not going to do. They lack integrity. You have to sort these people out and understand you cannot allow them to affect your daily habits. Just because they're late, that don't mean you're late. Just because they lack integrity, that doesn't mean you lack integrity. I'm going to do a podcast soon on, because I can't figure this out. So I'm going to kind of solicit help of everybody. But why does it seem to me that every single person, and I shouldn't say that, not every single person, but so many people just lack integrity these days. They say they're going to do something, they don't do it. They say they're going to call, they don't call. They say they're going to show up, they don't show up. They don't, even act like they want to give an excuse or apologize for not showing up or not doing certain things. That just what happened to integrity? I'm going to write that down. That's a podcast. What happened to integrity? But you don't want to get caught up in those things in your daily lives. You want to create these habits that's going to continue to allow you to win, that's going to continue to help you succeed in having that psychology of winning until it is a part of you. So, guys, look, with that, I hope I've given you some tidbits that will help you in terms of what winning mindset is, the psychology of winning is all about, how you can win this game. Continue to study what's going to be best for you. Don't just study the good stuff, study the bad stuff. That just look at the outcome of the business plan of making $1 million a year, but look at what it's going to require to make that $1 million a year. Don't just look at, I'm going to win the football game, but what is it going to be required on offense, defense, special teams to win that football game? Do these things in your daily lives. Do these things in your personal lives. And I guarantee you'll continue to grow. You'll become a better you, and you will create a psychology of winning that becomes irrevocable. All right. So thank you guys for joining me on this week's episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. Continue to like, subscribe, download, and share. I'm excited about the growth of the podcast. I'm excited about where we are. I'm excited about, interacting with you guys every single week. So continue to share. Go to the website, the deepdivepodcast.live. Listen to some of the previous episodes. Please, please, please. Check out the YouTube channel. Go there, share the video versions as well. Sometimes it's good to get a chance to just kind of see each other eyeball to eyeball. I keep promising we're going to have guests. I got a list of guests that are ready to come on, but I think it's important for us to continue our core messages of empowerment first and foremost before we get into any entertainment. So thank you guys so much. God bless you, and I'll see you on the beaches of the world.